Okay, I'm going to explain how I'm troubleshooting these containers on my Raspberry Pi. There's several, as you can see, containers running here. One of them is a test and it won't be running in production, but I'm using it to test that these containers here are correctly configured. These containers here are Cloudflare containers. This one's a DNS over HTTP. It's only forwarding things to the servers that are configured in this. This is not a reverse tunnel into the server, into the Raspberry Pi. It's an outgoing one only, and the Pi hole is configured to forward to this container, which then forwards out to the Cloudflare DNS over HTTP servers that I have configured. The Nginx reverse proxy is just that. It's a reverse proxy that connects to my camera network. The cameras I'm using are Raspberry Pi cameras, but the OS that they're running doesn't support HTTPS to the admin page or to the cameras for that matter. So using Cloudflare to tunnel into the Raspberry Pi, connect to the reverse proxy, which has links to the different cameras on the network. This keeps it private, and you have to authorize to get to it. There's no open ports to the outside world, anything on the Raspberry Pi. So again, that keeps it secure. One of the things about testing with Cloudflare, though, is the tunnels, is that you have to set that up on the Cloudflare side, and there is some complication with that. It's not terrible, but when you're trying to make sure that everything's set up, it's good to be able to test it locally, and that's what the Busybox container is for. So it's for me to be able to test these other two containers right here. Actually, it can test that things are forwarding out that this is configured as well, that it will resolve host names. So I set up the Busybox test container on the same network as these are. Everything in this on the Raspberry Pi in these containers is running on a network I call Cloudflare D. So I can get to those using the Docker DNS for that. The Cloudflare host container is that. So if I want to connect to the Raspberry Pi itself, I connect through the Cloudflare tunnel to the host using SSH. So this is on a different network that I called host, and it is isolated from these other containers. So I've logged in using the Cloudflare host, and I'm going to run the Busybox container, and we're going to run it on the Cloudflare D network, and we're going to shell in. So as I said, we can use the DNS names for this. So if we want to ping Pi hole, then go ahead and ping it, and it works. And I want to ping Nginx reverse proxy, and that works. And if I want to see that the ports are open, that I want to be open, like on Pi hole, 53 as an example, it's open, 80's open, 443 is open. So that works. On the Nginx reverse proxy, it's port 80. And that's open. And if you want to try something like 22, you can see that it's not open. All right, so how do I know that the Nginx reverse proxy is actually serving up the web page I want? I can do a wget Nginx reverse proxy, and I should get I got my index.html, and then verify that it's really what I expect. And there you go. That's the That's the web page that I configured for that. So now that I know all of that is working correctly, I can say, all right, I can set up this container and configure it to point to the Pi-hole and to point to the Nginx reverse proxy. And that's how you test